Last episode, we talked about taxes, retirement, and the future of your investments. Today, we're getting a little deeper into stocks. We're talking assets. Not your car, not your parents' house, not those Beanie Babies from the 90s. I mean securities, equities. I'm Savanna Taylor, and today's Financial Literacy 101 lesson is where the rubber meets the road. The phrase of the day is asset classes. Let's unpack. Today's assets are stocks, just shares of a company. Classes are categories, and we'll be lumping stocks into categories based on their size and performance. The easiest way to judge a company is by how much money it's worth. In finance, we call money capital, and the worth of a company is determined by the stock market. If we cram those two ideas together, we get a new term called market capitalization. A lot of people shorten it to market cap. That's the first measure of a company's economic size, their market cap. This won't be on the test, but the benchmark for size is $10 billion. A company's market cap, the value of all its shares, needs to be $10 billion to be considered a large cap stock. Small cap, on the other hand, is anything less than $10 billion. The second way we measure a company is their past performance. Like we said in our last episode, performance can be measured by looking back in time and taking an average. If a company is earning a lot of money or getting a lot larger, and we expect that to increase into the future, we call it growth. However, we can't be sure that it will in fact grow, so if you're getting into growth stocks, there's an expectation that values will fluctuate more rapidly. Maybe up, but maybe down. The opposite of growth is shrinking. But no one invests in companies that are shrinking, so the other type of firm we expect to see in the market is value, and they're often overlooked compared to growth stocks.
But large value companies are those that don't attract the same kind of an excitement as the large growth companies. They tend to be more mature industries, more mature companies, and certainly you would recognize some of the names like Exxon and the large bank companies, Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble. All of these mature companies, many of them paying, by the way, pretty good-sized dividends.
Thanks, Paul. That's Paul Merriman, WWU alumni and our local knower of all things finance. So, we have growth and we have value. You didn't forget about mutual funds, right? Because when we're talking about growth or value, we can go with both. That's called a blend. That is, a blend of growth and value. Diversification is back at it. Most people in the academic community recommend sticking with value or blend assets. They're simply a more controlled method of investing. Value stocks make up the middle of the road and are proven performers. They're not going to explode in size next year, but the odds are good they won't go bust either. Blend assets add back in a little bit of risk and reward with the addition of growth stocks, the kind of assets that have a lot greater chance of boom or bust. In terms of size, small cap stocks are preferred. Why? You get more bang for your buck. The cost of a small cap stock is typically less, so you can hold a larger portfolio with less skin in the game. So let's bring it all together and see why Paul recommends bringing small cap value stocks into your portfolio.
So let's compare small cap value to large cap blend. Remember, I keep going back to this comparison with large cap blend because it is large cap blend or the S&P 500 that is called the market. It represents about 85% of the value of U.S. public corporations. All right, how did large cap blend do compared to small cap value? Well, from that 1928 through 2016 period, large cap blend was 9.7, that was the compound rate of return, and small cap value was 13.5. Now, if we look at the very best single year. Large cap blend was up 54, small cap value up 125.2. I mean, that is a home run in a single year. On the other hand, in the worst year, when large cap blend was down 43.3, small cap value was down 55.5. Now, if I'm a year away from retirement, or if I'm in retirement and I've got a lot of money in small cap value, I'm not feeling good about being down 55.5% because I don't know what the next year is going to bring. But for young investors, boy, this is, I just think, is a must to be part of your portfolio. So again, we pretend that we invested $5,000 a year, $200,000. We looked at every 40-year period, and what we found was that the very best 40-year period, remember large cap blend, the 12.5% that grew to 4.4 million? All right, hold on to your hats, and let's not forget, as I give you these numbers, to participate in this particular 40-year period would have been pure luck. It was a 19.2% compound rate of return. That would have grown to $29 million. Now that's the good news, and that's really good news. But there was the worst 40 years. That could be as likely as to get the best 40 years. And if you remember 8.9 for the large cap blend, which grew to 1.6 million, and the worst 40 years for small cap value was 11.6%, and the money grew to $3.4 million. Still, I mean, it's still a great return, but not the same home run. But if we look at the average, it's an average I'd love to have, and that would be the large cap blend was 10.9, which grew to 2.8 million, small cap value 16.2, which then would have grown to about $12.5 million. Now that is a huge difference between whether you're looking at getting 12 million or 29 million or even 3.4 million. All of those are very fine returns.
Let's bring all those figures together. On average, factoring in the ups and downs over 40 years, large cap blend, the S&P 500, grew 10.9%. Small cap value, Paul's asset class of choice, grew 16.2%. That's a huge jump. So what did we learn today? How to classify stocks. Most people use size and performance. Size being the market capitalization or how much they're worth in the market. Performance is based on their track record compared to how much they've been selling for in the market. So whether it's small cap, large cap, growth, or blend, you have all the vocabulary you need to classify assets in the stock market. Thanks for watching. I'm Savanna Taylor, and this has been Financial Literacy 101.